So you've just had a new member who signed up to your club. Fantastic. And now you've been asked by your committee to change that person onto a member on Easyspeak. There's a couple of different ways we can do this, and this depends on what status the person already has on Easyspeak. You may have previously added them as a guest and need to change their status from guest to member. They may already have an existing Easyspeak account, whether they're a visiting Toastmaster or they've added themselves on eagerly as a guest. Or you might need to add a brand new member, and we'll show you how to do all three of those in this video. So you've already got a guest on Easyspeak who you've previously created a guest account for, and now you need to update them into a member status. To do this, you go to Membership Management and Edit Member, and this will pull up the user list. At the moment, it's just showing members. So if you click on this box here for Visitor Management, it will bring up all visitors, visiting Toastmasters or mailing lists associated with your club. So in this example, I'm going to say that Adil Farouk, who's a visiting Toastmaster, has just paid up and wants to become a member. If you click on the little pencil mark, it will bring up their user profile, and then you go to the tab Club. Here you will see their current membership status and from when it was, and you take this drop-down box, you click Member, you can backdate it if you want, and then you press Submit. Once you've done this, that member will then be available on your user list as a full member of the account. And you can do this to change them back to a visiting Toastmaster, a visitor, or add people to mailing list if needed. The next circumstance you may have is if you have somebody who already has a user account on Easyspeak. You might not always know if they have one. It may be that they automatically signed up before the meeting. Some people do that. It might be that they were previously a member in Edinburgh or Scotland or somewhere. So we have to make sure before we make accounts that we're not already duplicating, and I would suggest to do this with every single new person. So go to the menu, Go To, and click on User Search. Here you type in the name of the person. What you might find is that there's duplicate accounts or that you've spelt something incorrectly. So sometimes it's worth going through a few times. For example, if I'd have put Michelle Barad rather than Mish wouldn't show up. Once you select them, you'll see the profile of the person, and you can check on the demographics to see if they're the right person. If I was expecting somebody who lived in Solihull and it said Ireland, then they might not be the correct person. You can also go to the Toastmasters tab and check what clubs they are connected to. Again, if you have a guest who has told you they've been visiting around all the local clubs, and you see New Street Speakers and Bullring Speakers and Heart of England, then you know they're associated to your local clubs, and that would make sense. So what you want to do is grab the username of the person, so Michelle in this case, and then go back to your meeting. There's a little button at the top called Add User. You will also see these as you go down to other areas on closed meetings. There'll be a button here saying Add User. And when you click this, a pop-up will enter. Automatically, new users will be added as visitors, but you would want to add them as a member. Say when they're first associated to the club, and in this scenario, because the account already exists, you input the username. Type it Michelle. When you click Submit, it will bring up again that information, and then you connect the user. This is really important to make sure that you're not creating duplicate accounts for people, else their educational history will be split across multiple accounts, and then we'll have to merge them later. So click Connect User and they'll be added. If you do find that people have multiple accounts, so go to the user search and type in Barad. For example, there's two different accounts for me, Tanya and Tanya Test. So what we would please ask you to do is to try and get those accounts merged and go to the Help options, Discussion Forum. And if you go to the How Do I and create a new topic here and just type a message saying, can you please merge the accounts Tanya and Tanya Test, then one of the administrators will get back to you and get that merged for you. The final scenario you will have is when a brand new person comes to the meeting, they don't have an Easyspeak account, and you want to add them. It's the same process if you're adding a visitor or if you're adding a member. You click on Add User. You select the status, whether a visitor or a member, and then you input their full username. In this example, I'm going to make a test account for myself. So once you've got their details in there, you press Submit, and you'll be asked to create a username. The password already appears, and this again is GDPR safe so that you won't know what the password is. If I wrote in the username Tanya and click Create User, it will show me that this username's already been taken and Tanya1 is available. So you can keep making these until you find a username available. When you click Create User, it will tell you that the user's already been added to the meeting. And as you can see in this example, Tanya Barad has now been set as a visitor and associated as coming to the next meeting. What the user will then see is they will receive an automated email. Sometimes this does go into the junk, so if they don't receive it, do please tell them to go into the junk, and it will tell them what their username is and what their password is. Please note that this password will be tested, so please do not try and log on with this username. It will give them a link to the next meeting and then tell them how to change their details under profile.